Bhagavad Gita is a book of mankind's collected experience of and answers to life's most basic questions. Who I am, from where do I come, what is my purpose and destiny, and most practically, how do I find happiness? These podcasts originate in the lectures of Neil Bhatt, a disciple of Swami Chinmayananda. They are presented here in 20 to 30-minute segments, each covering 3 of the Gita's 701 verses. Welcome to Gita Wisdom for Daily Living.
We are now discussing Chapter 2, Sankhya Yoga, Yoga of Knowledge. So far we have seen that Bhagavan gave the knowledge of Sankhya. The Sankhya Darshan is Jnana Darshan. It takes us step by step what the reality is. From verse 11 through 30, he gave us the Sankhya Darshan, the Jnana Darshan. And then he said that now I'll teach you the Buddhi Yoga, which is the application in your life how to overcome the Prakriti. So Sankhya Darshan says that Purusha and Prakriti are 2 separate entities. When Purusha get involved with Prakriti, then all these problems starts. The 5 klesas starts, Raga, Dvesha, etc. So Yoga Shastra says how to overcome this entanglement with Prakriti. So that Yoga Shastra, Bhagavan said, I will now teach you. But Bhagavan coined a new word called Buddhi Yoga. Yoga which is established in wisdom. So Bhagavan is basically now teaching Arjuna the Yoga Shastra in a very simple format that we all can understand. Arjuna can understand, we all can understand. We have touched upon a landmark verse in Bhagavad Gita, verse 47. Last time, which is most quoted verse in Bhagavad Gita. Most people quote this verse, but only quote the half of it, the first line of it. You will hardly ever hear anybody quoting the entire verse, both the lines. So the first line, everybody is very familiar, which says, Karmanye adhikarate ma phaleshu kadachana. And we quote that as if that's the instruction. In reality, that is the statement of fact. The first line in that verse is a statement of fact, that you have only control over your actions. You do not have control over the fruits of actions. That's a statement of fact. All of us who can think about it will agree with that. That I can act, what the results will come, I'm not in control. I'm not the karma phala data. Somebody else is, either the world, Bhagavan, whoever you consider, but that's not you. But you do have control over actions. The second line is actually the prescription. The second line is the advice, which says, Ma karma phala heturbuhu. Never engage in any action with the expectations of the results. That's an advice. It's an advice for us to be wise about how we act. You will never be able to guess what the results would be. You will never have a control over it. There is no reason for you to invest your energy into it. Most of our energies are wasted in regrets of the past or in the anxieties of the future, and then we have less enthusiasm in the present. So Bhagavan said, therefore, ma karma phala heturbuhu. Therefore, never engage in action with a result in your mind. And then the last portion of that verse says, Mate sangahatu akarmani, and never get attached to inaction. By fear of failure or not having any clear direction, you do not want to get engaged in inaction. Instead, become tamasic. So basically the advice Bhagavan given is very clear. Engage in action without any expectations. Many commentators said, this is where you change from prayas to shreyas. So all kamya karmas are for prayas. That which is going to be pleasant for me. Those actions which are not driven by the expectation of the fruits will lead you to shreyas, because you will be only focusing on the action itself. So Bhagavan has given a clear direction and clear statement of the reality we live in. And now, in the following verse, Bhagavan clearly demonstrates how one can engage in this activity. Say, Yogasthaha kuru karmani. establish yourself in yoga. That how to practice this Gnana Darshan, this knowledge of the true self. As I said, there are two entities per Sankhya. Purusha, who is always pure, Chaitanya, but inactive. Prakriti, which is inert but active. So Prakriti does not have the consciousness, but it is very active. And Purusha, which is pure consciousness but inactive. When these two get entangled with each other, then the confusion starts. Maharshi Patanjali Yoga Sutra said that yoga chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is to stop the activities of your chitta. Per Yoga Shastra, the chitta is like a mirror. It reflects the pure consciousness. But there are chitta vrittis, there are modifications which creates this confusion. Basically, the function of chitta from in our day-to-day life is pramana, to get knowledge. Viparya is the contrary knowledge, the wrong knowledge. Vikalpa, doubt, sleep or nidra, tamas, and then smriti, memory. These 5 modifications of chitta create flickering in our chitta, which does not let the consciousness reflect purely. Once these vrittis are negated, the Purusha is reflected through the chitta in its pure form. That basically Yoga Shastra says. But this is very complicated for an average man to understand. So Bhagavan is now clarifying this in a very simple term which you and I can understand and try to practice. Yogastha kuru karmani. That's very simple. You have to establish yourself in yoga, then act outside. If you are not established in yoga, then actions will be haphazard, they will be driven by the results, and then obviously there will be all the side effects which come along with it. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Swamiji points out this is the most important part of this verse, and most people leave that out. Sangam tyaktva. Act in this world by establishing yourself in yoga and without any attachment. So even attachment to actions themselves is detrimental. If I get too attached to I have to do this, I need to do this, then it will be problematic. There may not be opportunity of the particular actions for you to perform. In other words, you should perform the actions which are appropriate and necessary and available in that environment, and not have to have the particular actions you're attached to. I will only do this, but I will not do anything else. So in olden society in India, a Brahmin can only do this, he cannot do menial work. And I know in time where there was not enough work, the people suffered because they will not go down and say, I will do this if this work is not available. So Bhagavan said, don't get attached to actions. Whatever actions are available and appropriate, engage yourself into it. No attachment to what type of actions I am performing. Also have to establish myself in yoga. Now what that yoga is, with an average person gets really frightened. The very word you become a yogi, will say, no, I don't want to become a yogi. I'm a sansari. I have my own life to live. Bhagavan said, no, that's not yoga is all about. Yoga is something different. So what Maharshi Patanjali said, chitta vritti nirodha, Bhagavan puts it in a very different way, which is very palatable to us. So he said, siddhi asiddhi samobhatva, become even-minded to success and failures. Once again, going back to the previous verse, success and failures come from the past actions. The success and failures which I am experiencing now are actually results of my past actions. I have no control whatsoever on them anymore. I should have gone to medical college, and I would have been a doctor and made more money, and I'd be considered a frontline worker right now. But I did not. I cannot change that, and therefore whatever the results I am facing right now, whether I consider them to be success or failures, I should be even-minded. Take them as they are without attaching my likings and dislikings. Siddhi asiddhi samobhatva, samatvam yoga uchyate. The very first definition in Bhagavad Gita about yoga. Samatvam yoga yuchyate. We will see more definitions. And therefore this chapter is so important. This next 3 or 4 verses, starting from 47, they're so loaded with meaning, and they compressed all the wisdom of Sankhya and Yoga in these few verses that we have to pay lots of attention to understand them. Bhagavan said, Siddhi asiddhi samo bhutva. In a sense, do not pay attention to what you are getting because of your past actions. Treat them equally with prasada buddhi. Engage in your present actions. Do not let your present actions get affected by siddhi and asiddhi which you are facing right now. Samatvam yoga uchyate. The balance of mind is yoga. So we go back to what Maharishi Patanjali says, yoga chitta vritti nirodha. When chitta is agitated by all these vrittis, appropriate knowledge or good knowledge, contrary knowledge, memories, nidra, tamas, all those vrittis are creating impurities in chitta. The chitta is not now available to reflect the right knowledge or the right reality is who I am. So Bhagavan said, Samatvam yoga uchyate. This balance of mind, which does not get affected either by past nor by anxiety of the future, does not lose any enthusiasm in present in your current actions, is yoga. Once you are established in this, your actions will bear right results. In the next verse, how to look at the situation. Durena hi avaram karma, buddhi yoga dhananjaya. Actions which are prompted by desires are far lower than buddhi yoga. Bhagavan is obviously using a very unique term, buddhi yoga. Buddhi yoga is yoga wisdom, intelligent way of living, establishing yourself in buddhi. So again we have discussed before, chitta is a thinking entity. Thinking entity has several functions. We know the 3 functions are mana, buddhi and ahankar. The ahankar is always constant. The I feeling is always constant. When that thinking entity is in doubt, it is mind. Sankalpa vikalpatmaka manaha. But nischayatmika buddhi. Buddhi which is decisive. This is right, this is the truth, and this is what I should be working on. That's buddhi. But once established in that buddhi, that wisdom, what is right and what is wrong, and not be in that doubtful situation, that is buddhi yoga. When chitta is in that nischayatmik mode, it's buddhi. So Bhagavan said, engage yourself in buddhi yoga. That buddhi yoga is far better than karma. And here karma is only kamya karma, desire prompted actions, karma kanda. All the actions, all the way up to the desire to get swarga is all kamya karma. Therefore all actions performed for those results are kamya karma. Bhagavan said anytime, even though they may be the highest form of actions to achieve the best possible state of living or living standard, they are far lower than buddhi yoga. Buddhau sharanam anvecha. Take refuge in buddhi. This also reminded me of Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami, Sangham sharanam gacchami. I take refuge in Buddha, in the wisdom of Buddha. Here Bhagavan says, take refuge in your own wisdom. Buddhau sharanam anvicha. Krupanaha phala hetavaha. Those who are working in this world to get conducive results or get the fruits of their actions all the way up to reaching the heavens, they are krupanaha, unfortunate misers. They translate in a wretched. So krupana means miser. The miser is always unfortunate because he never gets to enjoy his own wealth. He has all the wealth but can't enjoy it. So he's wretched, unfortunate. The Bhagavan says, those people, that include all of us, who are working for the fruits of actions, they are very unfortunate because they will never be able to enjoy fruits of their actions. they will always be in misery, either regretting the past or anxious about the future. They will never be living in present. They are always living in future or in past. They both are hypothetical situations. There is no past that I have experienced and there is no future that I have seen. Anytime I experience it is always present. The Bhagavan says, Krupanaha phalahetavaha. Those people are really unfortunate misers who waste their energies into past and in future and completely ignores the present. We'll stop right here.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.